All right, I think we might be live. Once again, it is that unknown lag time between clicky clicky and am I even out there? We're going to assume I'm out there. So, it looks like my chat is having some interestings. Okay, awesome. Here we go. Comfortably Yum is here. Tom Greek, aloha. Good to see you. Looks like we've got yep, Tom Greek and Comfortably Yum hanging out, waiting for the chat to start. I have to say I'm so stoked to see you guys here. Comfortably Yum, I missed you last night on the Twitch stream. We watched Tampopo, and for once, the movie actually ended up working. So next week we're gonna do Tank Girl, and I'm 99% sure that that's gonna be a smooth stream as well, because thanks to Tom Greek, I'm getting a downloaded copy of that particular movie, so we won't have to depend on the streaming dogs and whether or not they will allow us to use their content, because I will be having the content on my computer. So thank you so much, Tom Greek, for that. Looks like Elaine is in the house along with Cindy Kraus, Curtis Nix. Hello, everybody in the statter box. Like I was saying to Comfortably Yum, we had a great time. Well, I had a great time last night on Twitch watching Tampopo, subtitles and all. We managed to chat and watch at the same time. I am so happy that we're getting together on Saturday nights on Twitch, and it looks like next week, like I said, 6 p.m. West Coast time, we'll be doing another movie night. That would be Tank Girl. And I also will probably be hopping on Twitch now and again, randomly, not quite sure exactly when. Not sure what I'll be talking about, but I will be going for Twitch affiliate in the next like 25 or so days, or no, I guess 21 days. I've got some of the requirements filled so far. Basically, I need to stream 7 days. I have 3 days total. We'll have another fourth next week. So I'll need to fit in another 3 streams in the next 21 days or so to get that full 7 days. I also have to stream for 8 hours, but the 8 hours will happen on its own. Beyond that, I think I'm going to be good to go, or rather, we're going to be good to go. We'll be affiliates on Twitch, and it will be super awesome. So, cool. It looks like Cindy had a great time, which is fantastic. Rick S. popping in, saying hello to the rad chatters here at the Statter Box. Oh, I like that, rad chatters, Rick. Hey, Terry Gilmore. Good to see you. Awesome. I'm so happy that we're here on a Sunday afternoon, just chilling. I don't know if you all had caught the description, but I was thinking today might be a nice day to do a roller derby part 2. Hey, Darlene, good to see you in the house. Yeah, roller derby part 2. Go a little bit into it, a little bit. Go into the sport a little bit again. And it'll be a question and answer situation, because let me tell you, as much as I chattered about roller derby last time, we didn't cover half of it. We didn't cover most of it. So on this particular day, we're going to take a walk down memory lane, a little bit for my sake and a little bit for your sake, so you can get a context of just how intense and integrated roller derby is in so many people's lives. And yeah, so we'll be doing that a little bit later on. Also, I want to apologize. I've gone through the videos usually the day after a stream, and it looks like I'm like missing a lot of chats, which is fantastic. That means you guys are chatting amongst yourself. It means we've got a lot of folks hanging out. But I do want to apologize if I don't see your chat or respond to your comment. It has everything to do with things flying on my screen and me not getting to it. It has nothing to do with please don't take it personally, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So so now that we've got that out of the way, I also wanted to point out or remind folks that if you want to get in touch with me, you are more than welcome to shoot me an email, madstatter, all one word, @gmail.com. And if you were interested in maybe sending in something fancy, something not so fancy, something, a little drop for the show. We've got a couple already, and I'd like to show you just the type of standards that we're talking about here. Does not have to be fancy. So, if you want to send your drop, shoot me an email and let me see what you got. My name is Dusty, and I hang out with Mad Statter. You should check her out on Chatter with Statter. Meanwhile, I'ma hang out here and catch my daily pigeons live. Oops, I wasn't very fast on that draw. We're still learning here. So, yeah, obviously, high tech does not need to be. Although I have to admit, it's one of my fancier masterpieces. I took video and I put audio over it because that's where I'm at. Oh, so fancy. But yeah, you definitely don't need to be super fancy. In fact, if you want to be super simple and just hang out, say, on a bridge somewhere and shoot the water, we can do that too. Hey Andre, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm just showing everybody the giving them inspirations for folks who may or may not want to send in a drop for Chatter with Statter. Shakalak was my very first drop, and here she is.
Hello, Chatter Statters. It's Shakalaka at Eastern Virginia on what we call Mount Chickahominy, the Chickahominy River Bridge. So called because kind of high up. If you're on a bicycle, it is pretty brutal. But I'm not on a bicycle today. I'm on my trusty little red motorbike, Aqua. And I'm going to send this to Mad Statter, see if she can use it. Shaka from Shakalaka.
All right, so no edits, just one take, easy peasy. It is all good. Comfortably yum. I'm super stoked you got to Hamilton Viewpoint, but never bothered to send it. That's okay. I understand the days have been a little bit brutal. Feel free to send it in when you got the time. Elaine, why don't you shoot me an email at my Gmail address and I can give you an address to send goodies, etc. I'm going to eventually shortly be getting a PO box, but right now, and once I get the PO box, I'll let everybody know what that is. But right now, just shoot me an email and I'll let you know a good address to get things mailed to. So let's see here. Oh, Comfortably Yum, you had a migraine. Yeah, okay, well then that makes sense that you weren't watching Tampopo with us last night. Yeah, when the rain finally came in this morning, it was pretty amazing. I'm definitely not going to argue with that. It was quite lovely. I'm actually thinking about having some soup tonight for dinner. Even though I had soup last night for dinner, I'm going to have different soup tonight. Last night, guess what kind of soup I had last night for dinner? Can anybody guess what kind of soup I had last night for dinner? I'll give you a hint. It wasn't clam chowder. Yes, Comfortably Yum. It was ramen. That's exactly it. See, you're a smarty every day. All right, then. So, Terry Gilmore, whenever you see that drop, the nervous Nelly in you wants to say, look out for that truck. Yeah, I know. It's so loud, isn't it? It's just like, I hope you don't get hit. That's so funny. Andre, you're eating pumpkin curry. Gosh, I don't know if I've ever had pumpkin in, I don't think I've ever had pumpkin like in a curry or anything. I've had pumpkin soup plenty times, but outside of like pumpkin soup or pumpkin pie, I'm not so sure I've had, well, and then pumpkin seeds. I'm not so sure I've even eaten pumpkin before. Yeah, that spring onion special does sound, with the deep fried spring onions, that sounded really good, actually. And I have to say, the scene where she was learning how to make her broth and the broth master was teaching her first you parboil, then you have to rinse it with cold water and never bring it to boiling, otherwise the broth will never be clear. All of that is 100% true. I mean, it's actually like if you watch cooking shows, that is exactly how they do make certain types of ramen broth. I mean, there's a bunch of different types of ramen broth. There's, pork based, there's shoyu based, etc. But yeah, the from what I understand about cooking soups and ramen, the broth methodology that they were outlining is 100% legit. That's like how it's done, man. Yeah. Hey, Photo Luke, good to see you. I'm glad that you are helping to bring folks over to Carl in Arkansas to help him get Twitch affiliate. I don't know if you were here earlier on the stream, but I was thanking everybody for swinging by Twitch last night. And next week we'll be doing another movie on Twitch. And outside of those, I'm going to be hitting up Twitch every once in a while because I'm trying to go for affiliate, and I have a lot of the requirements already, well on their way to getting met. So I just need to do the 7 streams in the 30 days, and I think I'll be good to go. So very happy that Photo Luke is a huge part of helping to grow and build the Twitch community. Twitch community, I have to say, I know we're on YouTube right now. YouTube's a little bit more cutthroat, it seems, with a lot of content creators. Not the content creators that we have in our circle because they're really awesome, but it seems as though Twitch really does help to encourage community growth instead of competition amongst creators. So Photo Luke is a perfect example of that. He shows the Aloha spirit to so many brand new Twitch creators, specifically Terry in Scotland and Carl in Arkansas, two content creators on Twitch that he's helping out. Terry recently got affiliate. Carl's on his way to getting affiliate. So when you're dabbling on Twitch, if and when you are, and you like to watch some game simulations, I suggest you check out Carl in Arkansas or Terry in Scotland. So, oh, did the cat? Yeah, the cat. Yeah, that was Ashes. She wanted attention. So let's see here. Oh, Darlene, homemade chili and grilled cheese sandwiches. Well, it's too bad I was setting up the stream because I would have been right over. That sounds delicious. Yes, it does. Yeah, so yeah, that cat, by the way, was Ashes. She yeah, anyway. So dabbling in Twitch, Andre, dabbling in Twitch does kind of sound like a drug reference, doesn't it? I didn't mean for that. There was no allusion to that. I did not intend that to happen, but yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? Yeah, so let's see here. Oh, yes, one last thing before we maybe hit into the roller derby situation. Well, actually, 2 last things. So I guess that's not really last. 2 beginning things? I don't know. Here's some things. First off, thanks for hanging out with me and us, the Statterbox, at Chatter with Statter every Sunday and every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast time, 1:30 Hawaii, 7:30 East Coast time, and Saturday night movie night with the cinema with the Statterbox on Saturdays on Twitch if you go that route. So that's the first thing. Second thing I wanted to let y'all know, I heard from Sears again, and my part is still back ordered. So they estimate it will be here on the 20th of September. I'm beginning to think they're just throwing dates out there and they really don't know when it's going to get here. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But that's okay because I didn't really want it to come here this weekend or this week because this week, tomorrow and Tuesday, I'll be going to the coast thanks to generous donators from the Statterbox. If you want to donate to this stream, I do have a PayPal donation link on my banner or in the About section. And because some folks were so generous and decided to use that link, I am now able to rent a room tomorrow night on the coast of Washington, and I'm going to be getting a bunch of rainforest footage. So hopefully after next week, we'll have a little bit more video other than just the ones we've had so far, and we'll have a little less of my face and a little more of the landscape. So that's the plan, at least. Anyway, oh, hey, Kenny Casey. Good to see you dropping in. I think we're going to probably try to talk about some roller derby today, but we might not because we might end up talking about something else. Oftentimes, I decide what we're going to talk about, and then it never gets talked about. So let's find out, shall we? Let's find out just where the chatter scatters. Tom Greek, I hope there are many animals in the rainforest. Oh yeah, there's a ton of animals in the rainforest. In fact, probably right now there's a bunch of elk that are out and about, and I will have to make sure I don't run into them when I'm driving. Yeah. So, oh, Andre, we love your face. That's so sweet. But, I mean, sometimes it's nice to see things that you haven't seen before. And there aren't very many temperate rainforests in the world. So I might as well take some video of it since it's practically in my backyard. But speaking of things that are practically in my backyard, Rat City Roller Girls started their roller derby team, league, etc., in a place called White Center. White Center is a place just north of where I live. I've taken a holo holo through and shown you just that cute little town. Well, it's not really a town, it's just a neighborhood. Anyway, Rat City is another name for White Center, where roller derby got started, like I said, repeating myself. And yeah, it's been roller derby has been in a part of my life for probably over a decade now. And let's see here. Comfortably Yum, do you have any footage of your old Big Dipper boss in her derby day? Comfortably Yum, I'm not sure. I don't know what her derby name was. And I don't know what team she was on. With those two pieces of information, I probably can scrounge them up. But without that information, I have no idea if I have any roller derby footage from your boss's wife. Or I mean, I guess actually your boss's wife was also your boss. So no, I don't know. I might, but I don't know. Yeah, Rick, watch out for the Bigfoot fella. I'll be, if all goes as planned, I will be taking you deep into the forest, off-roading a little bit. I know some secret squirrel, hidey holes that are a little bit off the beaten track. And if we're going to find Bigfoot anywhere, that's where we're going to see him. So, Andre, we now like to call it Multicultural Inclusive Center instead of White Center. Well, it's funny you should mention that because White Center was named after a family whose last name was White that happened to live in the area. But everybody for, I don't know, the last 40 years has pretty much recognized that it's not a very white center at all, which is great. Actually, some of the best restaurants in the area are in White Center. I personally love White Center. It's just so great. But we're not talking about White Center today, unless we want to talk about White Center, in which case we can talk about White Center. Yeah, I would like to talk about, like I said, roller derby, unless someone else has got something else. So Andre, Redwood Forest kind of scare you? Seems like another planet. Yeah, actually, I can see that logic. When I was in college, my college at the Evergreen State College is located on 1,000 acres of forest, most of which is not developed. And it has like a nude beach and everything, so it's on the water. And then anyway, one of my classmates was born and raised in Manhattan. And so when he came to the Pacific Northwest to Evergreen, he actually was afraid of the trees. Like the forest line just freaked him out. He didn't like not being able to see the sky, even though where he admitted, he's like, it makes no sense because where I'm from, you don't see the sky because the skyscrapers are all in the way. He's just like, but when it's trees not blocking out the sky, suddenly it was just a whole other world of terrifying for him, which just sort of cracks me up. It's just, he was kind of the epitome of, a New Yorker, and for him to be afraid of the trees, I guess maybe that is the epitome of a New Yorker. I don't know. I just thought it was very cute. Oh, right. Yeah. He would hate that forest in Japan without a doubt. Yeah, Evergreen is kind of like UC Santa Cruz. Is UC Santa Cruz they're the ones with their mascot's the banana slug, right? Yeah, they're definitely right up there with the gooey ducks of the Evergreen State College. Oh yeah. Um, yeah, Andre, I can't say that all people from New York City are afraid of trees, but I can say that Mateus was. Yeah, that was his thing. And it was really funny too because he railed against the college the entire time that he was there. Every single year, he's like, "I'm going back to New York. I'm not coming back here. I can't stand it here." Well, he never. Not only did he never leave, I think he still lives in Olympia. Like I think he's only happy when he's unhappy. So Olympia's just like right up his alley, you know? Yeah, New York only has trees in Central Park, Cynthia Kraus. That seems to be the impression that I've gotten. I mean, I'm sure they've got a tree here or there, but in other parts of town. But yeah, as far as forests go, I think Central Park is it. Central Park, though, is kind of an amazing master of engineering. I guess like all the water feature, like there's nothing natural in that park. Like all the streams and the ponds and everything, they can drain them, they can block the water, it's all fake. I mean, it's gorgeous from what I've seen, but it's all fake. It's just fake. Um, Yeah. Okay. So Andre, you remember a guy from New York scared of trees and parks in general. So then my friend wasn't the only New York person who was afraid of trees. Wow. That's funny. Actually, I mean, I really didn't think. I thought that it was just sort of a Mateus thing. I didn't. Wow. Yeah, I know. Photo Luke, right? Afraid of trees. It makes no sense to me. A big tough New Yorker, who's not afraid to get mugged or whatever, is suddenly afraid of, I don't know, Rickfoot coming out of the tree line suddenly. I really don't know what he's afraid of, other than he couldn't see the sky. But, what? Yeah, that just makes no sense to me. Makes no sense at all. Yeah, Curtis, city boy, no use to that real forest. I guess that's what it is. It's absolutely, that has to be it, right? You're scared of the meth heads in the woods. I don't think we've got a lot of meth heads in the woods. Now, we might have them randomly walking around the streets, but we don't have a whole lot of them in the woods. Yeah, Elaine, I think that was what he was afraid of what's lurking in the trees, but it's like there's really nothing lurking. I mean, are you afraid that a squirrel's going to come attack you? I mean, I guess I shouldn't. That was kind of a bad example now that I think about it. I had a friend once who was staying staying at my house. I was up in the last place I lived in, up in West Seattle. Yeah, and so one morning he went out onto the front porch to talk to his girlfriend on his cell phone, and apparently his presence really bothered a squirrel in the front yard tree, and the squirrel charged up the sidewalk at him, up the stairs, because he was like right in our doorway. Charged up the stairs and grabbed onto his pants leg, and he freaked. He kicked the squirrel, went flying. I mean, he wasn't trying to kick the squirrel. It's just this little thing came running up his leg, and he freaked out, and he kicked. And so squirrel went flying. No squirrels were hurt. But yeah, I guess squirrels might be something to be afraid of now that I think about it. So who knew? Maybe those New York people are onto something. Cindy Krause, you were terrified the one time you walked in New York City, never seen so many people. Yeah, I've never been to New York City, but I have a feeling it would be a little bit overwhelming for that exact reason. I don't think I'd be afraid necessarily. In fact, in so many people, there isn't, well, I won't get into that. I live with no fear stupidly, so I'm not going to recommend that life. But yeah, I don't just the, yeah, I wouldn't want to be bombarded with that much energy. Oh, okay. So actually, there's xylophobia, also known as hylophobia, and it's the irrational fear of wooded areas. Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't really know if it would be considered irrational because as someone who's from the city, the wooded areas are just unfamiliar, and it's pretty natural, right, for humans to be scared of the unknown. And so in that context, I guess his fear, it's the unknown, so it seems scary. Um but, it does seem a little irrational to someone like me, so there is that. So let's see. Terry Gilmore, a few years ago, you walked along the boardwalk to Cape Alava with friends. They had the best smoked salmon from the Macaw Tribal Backyard Shack. I'll tell you what, Terry. The smoked salmon that we have around here is very different than any smoked salmon I've ever encountered anyplace else, from Alaska down through at least the Olympic Peninsula. It's like a dry smoke. There's no brining. It's not a wet, it's not like lox. I don't even understand. Like, that is not smoked salmon, people. It's not like it's a salmon jerky because it's, meat. Um, Meat is jerky, I understand. Yeah. It's a thicker slab of meat, I guess what I'm trying to say. But it's very it's like dried on the outside, and it's seasoned, smoky. There's other flavors in it, but it's not like it's like if you ziplock or zip pack, or what am I vacuum seal. If you vacuum seal the pack, the only moisture that's in the pack is going to be like the salmon oil. Unlike some smoked salmons in the vacuum packs, when you open it, like it's all wet inside. That kind of salmon, in my opinion, is subpar to what we get over here in the Pacific Northwest. And the best thing, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get this week, what I love is when you go to the native grocery stores or, convenience stores, oftentimes they'll not only will they have the smoked salmon in their fridge, they'll be like, John caught this on Cedar Creek last Tuesday, will be the well, not last Tuesday because it takes longer, but like the label will literally be, John caught this is this river, this was the date. And I think that's kind of awesome, frankly. Maybe that's just me. The one thing though that I wish the smoked salmon around here was more like jerky, because I would love to send it to people, but it has to be refrigerated, and so sending refrigerated things far away is not very easy, as it were, because I would love to share the salmon that we have around here, but quite honestly, you have to come up here to get it. It doesn't travel well, so if and when you do come to the Puget Sound area or the Pacific Northwest coast, seek out like real deal smoked salmon, not the tourist kind that you buy in a box or whatever. Like, go to a seafood shop, get their smoked salmon at a seafood shop or whatever. That's my advice to you guys. Now, if you don't like salmon, don't do that, because smoked salmon is very intensely flavored like salmon. So, if you don't like salmon, then you're not going to like smoked salmon. Photo Luke, yeah, and Curtis Nix, the guy who's afraid of the woods was, well, he is a New Yorker, Photo Luke's like, yeah, probably. And it's probably similar, Photo Luke. I can't even imagine what that would feel like, unless it's like I'm afraid of the deep ocean because I don't want to get eaten by something large or to drown. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a survival. I guess let's just chalk it up to a survival instinct, and that he's afraid of he doesn't know how to survive in the woods, right? It's not his element per se. Just like the water, we're land animals. The water is not our element. Hey, if you're not Kenny Casey, if you're not stomping around in the forest, don't sleep on the squirrel mafia. Those guys are way sketchy. Yeah, dude, some of those squirrels can definitely be hard to pin down. They're wily, very wily. Okay, hold on. Oh my. I missed a lot of chat. So let's see here. All right. So, yeah, I know, right, Curtis? New York has a lot of parks, but it's easier to get lost in just the volume of people, for sure. Andre, when you were a kid and we went camping in Port Reyes, you were hiking with your mom on the way to the camp and we got charged by a white deer. Oh, I'm not even surprised. Deers, I mean, I'm sorry, but Bambi can get mean. Deers can hurt you big time. I'm sure you guys have seen videos on the internet. I could probably go looking for one so we can point and laugh. But really, we shouldn't point and laugh because, I mean, we should point and laugh at the people who are so flippin' stupid that they antagonize the animal thinking nothing will happen. But yeah, how frightening on the trail to be charged by a deer. I could only assume it was either maybe some sort of mating season and you were near the lady he was trying to woo, or maybe it was a mom deer and you were getting a little too close to her babies. I had that happen with a moose once. Ugh, that was scary. I was the same encounter on the same mountain on the same day, just right after I had encountered a bear on the trail. And I seriously considered going back up the trail to the bear when I ran into the mama moose. Whew, I'd rather have a bear than a mama moose on my ass. I mean, I wouldn't want to have a bear but given the choice, mama moose can, yeah. Comfortably, raccoons freak you out when you go to smoke at 3 a.m. and there are pairs of beady eyes glowing at you. You know, I can appreciate how that would be very freaky. Where I grew up, there was raccoons everywhere, and I kid you not, I don't know what it was about Christmas Eve dinner, but 2 years in a row when I was a kid, a family of raccoons came up to our porch and would just stare at us while we were eating our Christmas Eve dinner. And doesn't seem like that big of a deal, right? Well, it kind of is, because the way the house was set up that I grew up in, there's the dining room, and then one wall of the dining room is a glass wall with a sliding glass door that led to our porch. And my dad's chair to the dining room table was literally like 6 inches from the glass wall, you know? So we've got this family of raccoons that are like standing there, and some of them, when they stand up, they're like close to 4 feet tall, some of them. I mean, seriously, dude, Grandpa was a big guy, and they would just stand there. It was awkward. We closed the curtains. We couldn't handle it. And also it was just weird because, like, it's only a little thin layer of glass between us and them. And why only on Christmas Eve night twice? It was 2 years in a row. It was the strangest thing. How did they know it was Christmas Eve night? I don't know. I guess they like the smell of clam chowder because we always had clam chowder on Christmas Eve night. I don't know. It was very bizarre. The first time it happened, it was weird and freaky. And then the second time it happened, it was just freaky. Wow, interesting photo, Luke. So you felt overwhelmed in Japan. You felt sick to your stomach. It took you until the next day to feel okay because of so many people. Wow, gosh, I can't even imagine. Sounds like you were just bombarded with a bunch of, I guess, I don't mean to sound like a hippy dippy whatever, but it sounds like you were just bombarded with too many people's energies and your energy didn't know how to comprehend that. Yeah, that I know. Sorry, scientifical people who are just like wanting to gouge their ears out after hearing something as silly as what I just said. Oh well. So, okay, wait, your friend's son was afraid of her house within a pine forest. He told her you live in the Blair Witch Forest. At night, he freaked out because it was pitch dark. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. You know, I've had some interesting weirdness happen in a dark, dark, dark forest, and I still don't know what it was that happened. And so I guess, I mean, the more I think about it, the more it's like, yeah, I guess forests can be really freaky, and I really shouldn't make fun of that New York guy for being afraid of the forest. Yet here I am making fun of that guy for being afraid of the forest. Wait. So comfortably yum, you have a terrifying herd of steer chasing me and three gay guys down a hill in Payson while we were drunk in the Arizona woods. Oh no, that's a bad plan, dude. I I was up oh, what was it? I was up in Klamath Falls, Oregon, up on Bureau of Land Management land with a couple friends, and the land obviously was being used to graze. A lot of cattle were being used to graze. So I just thought it was really weird that, like, you're driving around in the middle of on the top of the mountainy woods area, and then suddenly there's just like this huge herd of cattle, right? So I got out of the car to take a picture, and I did. But right after I took the picture, my friends were like, "You need to get back in the car right now." Because I didn't see the bull that was like right over, and that bull was looking at me like, "You taking pictures of my girls without my permission?" That bull was not happy with me. And so, yeah, I got right back into the car and we drove away. So, Andre, a lot of people of color have a fear of the wilderness because when they go there are not too many people like them out there. I actually, that's so funny you should say that. Yes, that is 100% true. And not only that, I actually, one of my friends who recently got into hiking, she was blown away at the number of privileged white people that she came across on the trail. And I had to explain to her, like, well, hiking by itself is kind of a privileged hobby to have. I mean, first off, you have to have a car to drive out to where you're hiking to. You have to have a job that allows you to have time to drive out to where you're hiking to. You have to have a job that pays enough for the gear that you need to hike where you're hiking to. There's a lot of things. It's like, it's kind of a privileged hobby. So why are you surprised? And once I outlined it like that for her, she's like, I guess I should not be that surprised. So, yeah. Darlene, Tom Greek, the forest doesn't scare you, but the ocean does, with the deeper ocean animals that could eat you. Yeah, I can definitely appreciate that. I, yeah, I don't know. The only place that I ever get scared of the deeper ocean animals is like Hawaii, where there might be a shark or something like that. Because ultimately, to me, I guess because the Puget Sound gets so deep, so close to the shore, you're like 20 feet offshore and suddenly you're in 600 feet worth of water. It's just like, I mean, deep, whatever. If I can't touch at, 6 foot, to me, it's like 6 foot worth of water is the same as 60 feet worth of water because I can't touch either way. But in the Puget Sound, there's not a whole lot of dangerous things in the water to hurt you. Whereas, I've heard there's sharks and stuff in Hawaii, and they're the kind of sharks that are big and might bite you. Because Puget Sound actually has a ton of sharks. I mean, I think like, I don't know, 20 different species, but they're like little or whatever. They're not like they're not like sharks. I mean, I know they're sharks, but they're not what you think of when you think of sharks. Let's just say it that way. Oh, whoa, wait, hold on. Cindy Krause, what are you saying? Photoluke, Hawaii. Tokyo is much like New York. In Tokyo, people kept touching my hair and was trying to buff my fingernails. What? You're making that up, Cindy. I mean, actually, I believe you. Why would you make that up? But why? Why do they want to buff your fingernails? Why do they touch your hair? What? Yeah, I guess, Curtis, that's it. They could smell the clams in the kitchen vent and they were waiting for the throwaways. That's the only thing I could think of, because we only had clam chowder for Christmas Eve dinner. That's the only time we made clam chowder. And so to have it, I mean, really, that's got to be the only logical logic, right? Is they smelled it and they liked it and they said, hey, throw some our way. So, oh, hey, Belly Bear. Good to see you. Let's see here. Oh. Okay, Rick S. You ever see the movie Tommy Boy? Oh God, with the scene with the deer in the back seat. Rick, that it was a disturbing and funny. I like honestly, okay, so for those of you who have not seen Tommy Boy and don't know the scene that we're referring to, they hit a deer. They think the deer is dead, I believe, if I remember correctly. And I can't remember what the scenario was and why they put the deer in the back of the car. Either way, deer was not dead. Deer wakes up in the back of the car and, yeah, mayhem ensues. And quite honestly, I wonder if that actually like happened. I mean, I do wonder if that is based on a true story because I totally feel like that is something that would happen. Shoot, people somehow manage to get coyotes into their car thinking it's a lost dog, and then they like give them a bath and post it on Facebook. Hey, I found this lost dog. He seems a little wild though and doesn't like to be touched, and he didn't have a collar. So I mean, people are kind of stupid sometimes. I mean, not everybody. I mean, I am sometimes. Like yesterday I was smart. I needed to take a shower, but all of my washcloths were dirty, and I went to the laundromat and I washed them. And then I put them in the dryer, and as they were in the dryer and I was waiting for my washcloths to dry, I was like, I hope they dry soon so I can take a shower. So I'm waiting for my wet washcloth to dry in the dryer so I can then take it in the shower and use it. Yeah, so when I say people are stupid, see these three fingers pointing right back at me? Yes, sirree. Let's see here. Andre, yeah, the Puget Sound do have orcas, but the orcas that we have in the Puget Sound are the residents, and they only eat fish. Very rarely do we ever get the transients in, and the transients are the ones that you need to be worried about. The transients are the ones that eat the seals. They're a lot more aggressive. The transients are the ones that if a great white shark gets in their way and pisses them off, the transients will kill a great white shark, have been known to do so. The transients are the scary ones, but the transients don't generally make it that deep into the Puget Sound. In fact, I can't think of any time that I've ever heard of it. The J pod and the S pod, which are residents here, the S pod especially, they come into the Puget Sound. But honestly, I would be afraid of, if I was in my kayak with an orca, I would be afraid, just like I am with the when the sea lions come in. But I'm not afraid that the sea lion is going to hurt me. I'm not afraid that the orca is going to hurt me. I'm afraid they're going to flip my boat. And then I'm going to be in the freezing cold water that I can't touch the bottom to with an orca near me. So it's like, I'm not necessarily afraid of getting hurt by one. I'm just afraid of them messing with me, I guess. Terry Gilmore, Mad Statter has such a checkered history with animals: hungry raccoons, bear, mama moose, angry bull. You're fully expecting to hear about an encounter on the Olympic Forest trip. It's quite possible, especially with where I really want. I have a friend who used to own some property, logging property on the Olympic Peninsula, and it's like dirt road kind up. And it borders right on the park. And so I have no doubt that I'm probably going to run into a herd or two of elk, because that's usually what you do run into when you go down that road. So yeah, I probably will. But speaking of Olympic Peninsula animal encounters, so I used to go camping at this place called Kalaloch. It's a beach on the coast. That was from the Department of Redundancy Department. Yeah, so the beach, it was on the coast. I used to camp there, and the campground was, overrun by raccoons. And the raccoons were so bold and brazen that they would basically be scrounging around your campground while you were still awake in the campsite, with the fire circle going on, they would just stay right in the shadows. And sometimes though, they would like come up, because like if you're eating a pretzels or peanuts or whatever by the campfire, they would come up under your chair and like grab the scraps that fall. Well, me and all my friends who go camping at that area, all of us have cats, all of us are animal lovers, all of us have been known to imbibe in some, weed and get a little bit stoned and stupid sometimes. And I kid you not, every single one of us at one point tried to pet the raccoon. Not because we were trying to touch the wild animal. No, that we knew better than not to do that. But because we're so used to cats winding around our feet and you reach down to scritch their ears, well, the raccoons were so emboldened that they would get close enough that just haphazard, just without thinking, we'd reach down to go, and the raccoon would then skitter away, and then we'd be like, oh, what the hell did I just try to, that was dumb. So yeah, we'll see what kind of raccoon or animal encounter I have on the peninsula, because yeah. Yeah, Andre, right? Yeah, but the ones that, okay, so yeah, the orcas don't like to attack people, but they have been known to feed on the great white. Yeah, but those are the transients. Like I said, there's actually like a bunch of different kinds of orcas, and the transients don't interbreed or mix with the J pod or the S pod, and they've got really quite an incredibly complex social structure. So I stupidly, I mean, you being afraid of orcas is 100% a good thing to be. I'm not saying like, oh, you shouldn't be. I'm just saying I'm not. And I live without fear in ways that is stupid. So I don't recommend doing that. But that's just where I'm at. Let's see here. Okay, comfortably young. There was a 911 call about the deer. Yeah, see, about the deer in the back seat and coming back to life, well, or waking up, whatever. Yeah, totally, dude. I knew that had to be. I knew that had to be. Had to be based on a true story. Let's see here. Okay, hold on. I'm missing so many things. So let's see here. Oh, wait. Cindy Krause. Okay, so chatter is scattering backwards right now. So in Tokyo, apparently Cindy Krause is saying they want to sell you the fingernail buffing kits. Walk into any store and they mob you. The Ginza shopping area is very intense. The Ginza seems like just a very intense neighborhood or whatever it is. That's so annoying that they would do that. But you said that you used to have strawberry blonde hair. When I was a little kid in Hawaii, apparently, I don't remember this, but my mom said, because my hair was blonde when I was a little kid, and a bunch of, like, whenever we were at Ala Moana Shopping Center, a Japanese tourist would ask to take my picture of baby with yellow hair, because I had have blue eyes and then yellow hair at the time. And so, yeah, I might be in like a trillion Japanese family photo albums from the 70s because I had blonde hair and blue eyes. Andre, yeah, the coyotes needed a bath, so he conned the people into giving him a ride and bath. Yeah, totally, that could be, because coyotes are wily, and they do have that connection with Acme, so he probably had some good bath products he wanted to try out. So, hey, Shock, good to see you. It sounds like you're working and doing tech support, but at least you're hanging out. That's so lovely. We were going to talk about, I thought about talking about roller derby, but instead Chatter completely went, and now we're talking about being afraid of the woods and all the aminals in them. And we're talking about being afraid of the ocean, too, and all the aminals in them. So, Darlene, so far the animals and larger birds like cranes and herons and geese, along with bear and deer, if you don't bother them, in most cases, not a danger, at least with what you've encountered. Absolutely. But I will tell you, I had a horribly startling experience with a great blue heron a few years ago. Well, many years ago, I guess, actually. Back when I lived in West Seattle, we lived 2 blocks from a 7-Eleven, and I was walking down the sidewalk to go to 7-Eleven, and it's a main thoroughfare. It's 16th Avenue Southwest. It's like 2 lanes each direction. You know, it's a big street. So I'm walking, and just suddenly on the other side of the wooden fence, out of the yard, I guess, and I'm assuming the yard had a pond, this huge shadow comes lifting, blocks the sun with its wingspan as this blue heron just loudly goes flapping off. I guess I had startled him as I was walking on the other side of the fence or something, or maybe he got his snack at the pond already and was ready to go. I was still getting my snack at 7-Eleven. But yeah, I was not anticipating seeing such large wildlife randomly on the other side of a fence in someone's yard on 16th Avenue Southwest, 2 blocks from a 7-Eleven. And no danger for me, no danger for him, but boy, or her, I don't know what it was. But wow, dude, great blue herons are huge, and they're loud. When they go flapping, you hear it. Oh yeah, Photo Luke. See, you're so smart. It's like you've done YouTube before. I think Photo Luke might have done YouTube before. If you don't know about Photo Luke, he's been on YouTube before. You should check him out on YouTube. And Photo Luke just reminded everybody, if you're liking this video, click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, by all means, give a subscribe, hit that notification bell. We have some mixed results with whether or not the notification works, but it's not going to work unless you hit the notification bell. And then once you hit the notification bell, well, it might work. It might work. That's right, Belly Bear. Every bunny loves some bunny. We've got some bunnies in my neighborhood that are domesticated bunnies, but they live freely. And it's a black bunny and a white bunny. They're two friends, and they I don't know where they live, but they're wild. They're not wild because they're domesticated. Okay, so the type of wild bunnies we have in the Northwest or in America are a different breed of bunny than domesticated bunnies that have come from Europe. So the domesticated bunnies are much larger, and they apparently can't interbreed with the tiny ones that we've got out here. So these bunnies are definitely not the native little bunnies. These are, big bunnies. But they live out they have for years. Every once in a while on Facebook, I'll see people like, did someone lose a bunny? And everybody's like, nope, they were in my neighborhood yesterday, and they're inseparable. Whenever you see one, you're going to see the other. It's the cutest flipping thing. I wonder where they sleep at night. I don't know why. I'm concerned about them more than the other bunnies. So, Andre, humpback whales can be feeding can be problematic if you're in a small boat. Absolutely. See, and that's the type of thing that I'm afraid of when it comes to whales or larger marine animals, is just them not recognizing, my kayak is tiny and it's on top of you. Could you not go straight up? Could you maybe go around me? Because I don't want you to breach and jump and splash and land on my boat, because that would be scary. Yeah. Right, Comfortably Claylock Raccoons, where's my s'more? That's exactly what Claylock Raccoons are like. So, Kenny Casey, can you tell the transient orcas from the local orcas? Do they have big letter T tattoo, or do you just judge by whether or not they're biting you? That's funny, and that's really funny. No, I cannot personally recognize a transient orca. However, all of the orcas' dorsal fins are the ones that stick out of the water, are all unique as basically a fingerprint. So people who are actually into the orcas, They can identify all of the residents of the S pod and the J pod. You know, they're like, oh, there's S16. We call her Millie. So basically, they can recognize who belongs here. And when an orca that like, that's not any, well, we know the S pod, we know the J pod, we know who's pregnant in the S pod, we know who's pregnant in the J pod, we know when they had the baby, we know blah, blah, blah. And that ain't nobody that belongs to J or S. So that's a transient. There might be other ways as well. I don't know. But I do know that the dorsal fins on all the whales, the orcas, are very unique. And are used as identifiers. So if nothing else, the locals are all known, which then by definition means the not locals stand out. Andre, Gangster Raccoons of Claylock, you better believe it. There was this one time that I had this conversation with this raccoon, and yes, this is exactly what I just said. I had a conversation with a raccoon. I was telling the raccoon, hey man, this is our campsite right now. You have to mind your own business and get out of here. I kid you not, dude. That raccoon, after I said, this is our campsite, you have to go mind your own business and get out of here. I said something to that effect. And yeah, I said it in English to the raccoon like he could understand me. Well, he could, I think, because he walked up to me and looked me in the face and just started to scratch at the earth like, oh, you think this is, you think this is yours? Yeah, not yours. And then he just haughtily looked over his shoulder as he left, and it was like, well, he told me, because he's right. It's not really ours, is it? Yeah, he was gangster. He was letting me know I was on notice. Mm-hmm. Hey, Christopher Graves, good to see you come in. We are talking about the irrational fear of the woods and how it's maybe not that irrational after all once you think about it. Hey, Poppy Shaney, good to see you. Yeah, as I just said, we're sitting here talking about all the wild aminals and things that aminals can do for you. Or to you is actually what we're talking about. Things animals can do to you that make us scared of the aminals. Yeah, let's see here. Andre, in Holland by Amsterdam Airport, you remember seeing lots of dwarf rabbits like little Disneyland. That's so cute. Yeah, I don't know. The rabbits in the Puget Sound area, I mean, they're like they're tiny little bunnies. They're, they're not big. Yeah. So I don't know if the ones in Holland are even tinier, but the little bunnies are just so cute. I mean, even big bunnies are cute. Bunnies are just cute. Yeah, we are lucky that whales don't hold grudges, and in a way, Andre, you're right. I mean, the resident spotters are kind of like the Orca Gang task force. It's just like, oh, we know so-and-so by his tattoos and scars, so there's so-and-so's tattoo and scar right there. Oh, interesting, Comfortably Yum. We used to lay out a cayenne circle around our campsite to keep the raccoons out in Seaside. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, I've never, I've never done that, obviously. Instead, I just try to pet the raccoons because I'm not thinking. So, yeah. Yeah, Rick, you got it. The raccoon was drawing the line in the sand. I mean, it was uncanny. Like, I mean, he really did seem to know what I said to him. And his response was like, oh, you think? Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like we had a moment. I know we came to an understanding. Belly Bear, you've heard scary stories about the woods in Rathdrum, Idaho, involves missing children and people. Well, I mean, the scary thing about woods also can be you can fall down and hurt yourself and no one will know. So really, actually, that is to me one of the most frightening things about the woods. I broke my ankle when I was on a pair of roller skates in the middle of a city in Tacoma, and there was no way in heck I was going to be able to walk off the track. My foot was hanging off my leg, and they called an ambulance and they carried me off on a gurney. Yeah, well, I had a friend who broke his ankle in the woods. There was no ambulance to call. He had to hike out on his broken ankle. Like, how do you do that? I couldn't, so to me, that's actually like the scariest thing about the woods to me. Terry Gilmore, desert jackrabbits here have oversized pointy ears as long as their bodies, and they're almost cartoonish looking. You are totally right. And I've actually seen a jackrabbit when I was in Yellowstone once. And I was a little bit... Okay, you know how earlier in this stream I said, oh, all the bunnies are cute. Oh, it's just the bunnies are so cute. Dude, jackrabbits are kind of scary. Like, they are nothing... They've got... I can't even put my words together. They're much larger than you would think, first off. They're very lean, but oh my, basically they're the closest thing that we have to a kangaroo in the United States. And yeah, those hind legs look like they could cause some serious damage. Yeah, jackrabbits are not... first off, I don't think I'd want to eat a jackrabbit because it looks like it's just tough and sinewy and just nothing but strong muscle. And second off, I wouldn't want to try to eat a jackrabbit because he might fight back and probably would win. So, no. So, I didn't know that 3 rabbits are a good sign. That's good. And Comfortably Yum, you do, you know about the killer bunnies, right? You do know about the razor-clawed, flesh-eating killer bunnies of Hawaii, right? Please say. I feel like I've told the story about the razor-clawed, flesh-eating bunnies of Hawaii. It's my favorite. Jackalopes, well, now they're hard to spot alive. I've never seen one alive, but I have seen plenty jackalopes mounted, and I definitely know that the high desert plains is a key jackalope breeding ground. I happen to know this for a fact. Okay, Comfortable Yum. So, no, Monty Python had their own killer bunnies, I'm sure, but there's a small islet off of one end of Niihau, and it used to be a very important seabird nesting colony area, but with all of, hundreds of years of passing ships, etc., rats and rabbits somehow made it onto the island. But the island is it's basically lava rock with very little vegetation and, birds. So, the bunnies, because they needed food, they evolved into having their claws get so razor sharp that they could dig into the lava rock to get like the roots of the vegetation that is there. But not only that, because there's so little vegetation there, the rabbits of that island evolved into eating the bird eggs. So they would eat the baby chicks in the eggs. So they were flesh-eating, razor-clawed bunnies, and they did exist. They have since been eradicated, and that little islet is now being rehabilitated as a seabird colony. But there was a time that there was flesh-eating, razor-clawed bunnies on an island just off of Niihau. Different island than the island called Rabbit Island, which was off of Oahu. And I don't know the story about the Rabbit Island on Oahu. Maybe they were razor-clawed and flesh-eating too. But I do know that the bunnies that were off the island of Niihau, they were razor-clawed and flesh-eating. And I just love that, even though it's so creepy. Cindy Krause, have I ever seen a Roadrunner? I've seen a Roadrunner before. I don't know if everybody else has, but yeah, they are remarkably. Their name is apt. They just like to run and on the road. They're very cute and they're fast, dude. Yeah, Darlene, exactly. And they have claws on their back paws and they kick hard. Yeah, that's why it's called bunny kicking or bunny punching, when like cats use their back legs to fight or whatever. Yeah, that's the reason why it's called bunny punching. Shock, your dad had a jackalope mounted. I happen to have one as well. I bought it as a joke for my sister. She freaked out and refused to take it, so now I've got it. Australia, rabbits got out of hand too. Yeah, and cats as well, apparently. Rabbits and cats have wreaked havoc in Australia, completely messing up the entire ecosystem. Andre, oh, they have a rabbit island in Japan? I don't know if you mean. What do you mean by that? Do you mean it's full of rabbits? Do you mean it's called Rabbit Island? Do you mean it's an island full of razor clawed, flesh eating bunnies? What do you mean by that? They have a cat island too in Japan. The cat island. I think I've heard of that, and I think I know I would approve of that. I could go retire there just fine. Yeah, Cindy, you're totally right. Darlene, they look, yeah, they're not very big. Roadrunners aren't very big. They're kind of about as tall as chicken, way skinnier. And yeah, they run it. They're really fast. They're really fast. Oh no. Terry Gilmore, you saw a poor Roadrunner in Costco parking lot and he couldn't find a safe way out around the moving cars. Told him to wait under a tree until closing time. Yeah, I talked to the bird. Well, do you really feel like you have to explain that, at least to me? I mean, yeah, of course you talked to the bird. I talked to the raccoon. You talked to the bird. Duh. That's what you do. Yeah, seriously, Belly Bear, it could be a new scary movie, stuck on an island with razor-clawed rabbits. Yeah, I really feel like it is something that could be explored. Well, of course, Cindy Krause, you talk to animals too. You, of all people, you talk to animals? I never would have guessed. Never. Andre, they've got a film named Rabbit Proof Fence, mostly not about rabbits, though. I might have to Google that, but I don't know if that's going to make it to cinema with Statter. Or Statterbox at the cinema, or whatever it was that I decided to call that. I've got a Twitch schedule up on Twitch now, 1 day a week, Saturday, and I called it something fancy like Cinema with the Statterbox, or Statterbox at the cinema, or something. It's something so fancy I don't even remember what I called it. So, Comfortably Yum, you spent 2 summers in Alaska and never got used to seeing bears. Well, honestly, that's because you live with a little bit of fear. That's smart. But also, though, I mean, bears in Alaska, you always have to double check. It's like, wait, is that a grizzly or is that just a black bear? I mean, not just a black bear, but given the choice, I would much rather accidentally run across a black bear than a grizzly bear. But yeah, I think that if anybody, I mean, even somebody like me who's stupid and doesn't really live with a lot of fear, yeah, I have a healthy respect for the bears. Black, brown, grizzly, spirit, whatever. Their claws are longer than my fingers, so I will absolutely respect them. Belly Bear, what about those giant Komodo dragons on that island that can eat people? Check this out. I don't know. I feel like, okay, check this out. I want you to Google this if you're so inclined, because I think I'm telling you the truth, but I might be making this up, but I don't think I am. So the Komodo dragons, back in the day, they just thought that the reason why their bite was so deadly to people was because of all the bacteria that was in their mouth and on their teeth, and just the infection that resulted from the bite was what ended up killing people. But they recently found out that no, they're actually venomous. They, not only is their mouth all nasty and full of bacteria, but they actually have venom too, and it's the venom that really gets you. So yeah, apparently, now please look this up, because I feel like I might be making this up, but I don't think I am. I really think that I might know what I'm talking about. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, Statterbox Theater, that works too. Yeah, I don't know, Cinema Statorama. Oh, that one's good actually, Cinema Statorama. Yeah, we can come up with good names for the Saturday movie show. I know how I have the power to change what my schedule says. But I was feeling fancy last night or the other night or whenever I did it, and I put it in there, and now I don't remember what I put in. Yep. Yeah, righty Lane. You saw Roadrunner in Vegas. Blink, it's gone. Exactly. I mean, I'm surprised that it hung around long enough for Terry Gilmore to tell it to hang out under the tree. Comfortably Yum. Yeah, you had to carry a bucket of rocks to shake on your way back to your cabin after work. Well, yeah, totally, because that's basically the only thing that you can do to prevent a bear attack is, like, hey bear, I'm coming through. Don't let me surprise you. I'm coming. Hey, Mr. Bear. Hey, Mrs. Bear. Listen to me being loud in the forest so you know that there's a human, and you run away because I don't want to scare you. Hey, Mr. Bear. Yeah. Yep, bucket of rocks. That totally makes sense. Probably the bucket of rocks was probably much more tuneful than what I just did. Cindy Krause, you've only seen bear poop in the woods, but never a bear. Would have had a heart attack or fright. I've seen plenty bear before in the woods. We've heard about one of the encounters, and on that same mountainside, maybe even the same day. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was the same day. Stupidly, my friend and I, we rode the ATV up to this ridge. We had some crackers and cheese, and then we left the ATV with the crackers and cheese and walked, I don't know, a quarter mile to go look at the viewpoint or whatever. And when we got back, the crackers and cheese were fine, but there was very fresh bear poop, like, right by the ATV. And it was just like, maybe that wasn't such a good plan that we did. Yeah. Right, yeah, Terry Gilmore, exactly, that's the relief. The Komodo dragon venom will kill you, slowly and painfully, not the heart attack from getting too close to the dragon. You got it, see? Now you got it, you're getting with the program. You know how to spin a happy face on that, right? Yeah. Yeah, no, the monitor, what is it, the monitor lizards, those, monitor lizards aren't. No, wait, I think I'm getting that confused with the Gila. Monitor lizards, they're not from the United States, right? They're like tropical. But Gila monsters are on the North American continent. Anybody? Bueller? I don't know a lot about those types of things. I used to have a snake, so I'm a little bit familiar with reptiles, but more with just the constrictor type things. But none of the like geckos, lizards, Gila monsters, Komodo dragons, iguanas, that whole section of reptileness never really did anything for me. I liked the big scary snakes until the big scary snake started looking at my cats as food, and then I was like, maybe I better find a new home from a big scary snake. And I'll tell you what, dude, people are scared of big scary snakes. It's kind of funny. The visceral, I mean, it's not, I guess it's not funny actually. I shouldn't laugh. But yeah, the reaction that people would have when they finally realized there was a snake in the room with them. The snake was always in its cage. It wasn't a free roaming snake. The snake was locked up, but yeah, I had people actually like leave my house. Like once they realized there was a snake in, they were just like, cannot come in, gotta go, bye. Yeah. The bears were breaking into houses that the people evacuated in South Lake Tahoe. Okay, you know what, Andre? That's not funny, but that's really funny. I mean, that's sad. It is sad for a multitude of reasons. People had to leave their homes. There was a huge fire. The animals were threatened. Yet I'm still finding myself laughing. I mean, I shouldn't laugh, but I mean, I don't know. I hope the bears ate the food before the house burned down. I mean, I don't know what to say about that other than I know I shouldn't laugh, but uh, let's see here. Hold on. Right, you're right, Elaine. You first saw hair while in the desert area in Las Vegas, away from the homes. They're like I said, they're kind of like miniature kangaroos. They sort of are little badass, scrappy fighter things. And yeah, Bugs Bunny, totally not a cute little furry bunny rabbit. Bugs Bunny, absolutely a smart ass jackrabbit hair for sure. Okay, so the monitor lizards are from Asia and Australia. All right, I was confused, but I wasn't just making stuff up. That sounds consistent. Um, okay, so Rick. Okay, okay. See, I might have been confused, and Rick is gonna come in and save my skin. Bueller says Gila monster is a venomous lizard native to southwestern USA. Very slow-moving lizard, up to 60 centimeters long. The Gila monster is the only venomous lizard native to the United States. Okay, so I was right. That is a USA animal. I didn't know that it was venomous though. So now I'm wondering if the monitor lizard story that I told, I was getting confused with the Gila monster story. That is a distinct possibility. So, hey, Lona, good to see you. 17 washing, 17 likes, 0 unlikes. All right, excellent. 17 chat. Is that a royal flush in YouTube speak? Let's make it so, Lona. Yep, 17 is a great number, so I like that. So, I mean, if more than just 17 want to give a like, I'd be stoked. But if it stays at 17, that's cool too. I like 17. Yeah, there was a belly bear. There was a gal on YouTube who was being watched by a mountain lion. She started to walk backwards and put loud hard rock. I think it was Metallica. If I'm remembering the story that you're talking about, because I feel like I saw this news story or whatever. Yeah, she walked backwards and put loud hard rock song and scared it away. Yeah, you got to do whatever you got to do. When it comes to mountain lions, I'll tell you what. I Okay, so I guess in order of things that actually frighten the flying fork out of me, mountain lion number flippin' 1 in the woods. Just not gonna lie. Grizzly bear probably number 2. Mama moose number 3. Black bear number 4. But without a doubt, mountain lion, cougar, whatever you want to call them, that is the scariest. And to my knowledge, I have never run across one. But I do know, yeah, you do not turn your back Do not turn your back on a mountain lion. Do not run, which is so, oh, that's got to be so hard to resist that urge to run, because once you start running, that prey instinct kicks in with that mountain lion and they are gonna chase. And I think we all know who's gonna win, and it's not gonna be you. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. They run faster than you, I promise. I promise. So, Cindy Krause, snakes really freak you out. Your daughter has a boa. They squeeze and have beady eyes. Ew. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I can't argue. I mean, yes, you are correct, but I think boas are really beautiful. I prefer boas to pythons. I think boas are more elegant. Yeah, that's right. I have a preference. But yeah, I don't like spiders. So like people who keep spiders as pets just confuse the hell out of me. It's just like, you've got to be nuts. And I can only assume that people looked at my snake in a very, very similar way. So adjusting my lighting here. Looks like the sun went out. Yeah, but I am curious, Cindy, do you know, do you happen to know what kind of boa constrictor your daughter has? Was it a Columbia red tail? Is it a Argentinian rock version? I love the rock boas. They're so pretty. They're so gray. Let's see here. Andre, your friend had a 13-foot boa and 150 pounds and had not been fed. It looked at me sensing fear and anger, and it started lunging at me. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah, I'm not even surprised that it could sense your fear, and boom, the prey, that is prey, I must chase it instinct in that reptilian brain absolutely, came forward. And at a 13 pounds, 100 or 13 feet 13-foot, 150-pound python, quite honestly, even someone who doesn't mind big snakes, that size of a snake is intimidating. You can't not be intimidated by that. That snake can kill a human. It can. My snake was only 8.5 feet long. My snake probably, if given the wrong circumstances, could kill a human, but certainly couldn't eat a human. That snake could both kill and eat a human. Yeah, that's too big for private use. That needs to be in like a zoo. When you've got a snake that big, you can't handle it. You can't handle it alone. That was one of the reason why I got rid of my snake was a couple reasons, but one of the reasons obviously was the cats. But the other reason was she was getting too big for me as a singular person to handle safely. For the most part, you really should have one person for every like 3 foot of snake. Well, she was almost 9 feet. And so in theory, you should have at least 2 people when handling a snake that long. Yeah, yeah. That's a big snake. Oh yeah, your friends had to wrestle. Yeah, your friends had to wrestle the snake and lock it in the kitchen, and it kept banging around. I'm not even surprised, and I wonder. I mean, honestly, like they really should have known. Don't keep a snake like that. Don't make a snake like that hungry. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And I'm kind of curious. Did they keep that snake for very long? Whatever happened to that snake? Because that snake does not sound like a good snake for someone to have in their private home. Let's see here. So Siberian tigers have been known to hold a grudge. Some hunter wounded one and stole his food. The tiger tracked the hunter to his home, and the tiger thrashed his house. That's funny, and that doesn't surprise me. I know lots of different animals hold grudges. I had my roommate's cat, Brutus, he made the mistake of killing a crow once. And the crow's spouse, partner, whatever crows do when they're together, the remaining crow that was alive for years years, years, years. Every day would perch in the tree in the backyard that overlooked the backyard and would watch and wait for Brutus to come outside. And whenever he came outside, he would dive bomb that cat and attack that cat and yell at that cat every single day for years. Brutus got to the point where he would climb up to the highest perch on the roof of the shed and just be like, "Bring it, meow, meow." And yeah, that bird almost took out his eye one night. So yeah, crows hold grudges too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Terry Gilmore, chatter scatters here at Statters. I had all this intention, because I mean, before I go on, it's like, well, might as well have something to talk about, right? So I'm like, yeah, roller derby. Let's talk about that. Everybody loves roller derby. No, we were talking about animals gone wrong, or actually animals reminding people just where their place is. Spiders are really the only time you wish you owned a gun. Yeah, I don't know if a gun would be the most effective weapon for spiders, but I feel ya, hun. I feel ya. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Wow, yeah, Belly Bear. See, right, there was a mountain lion here in San Diego that grabbed a lady, pulled her off her bike, and dragged her under a low tree. Her friend fought the lion with rocks and others and saved her. Yeah, I'm not at all surprised that, that lion probably had been stalking that whole group of people for a long time on their bike trek, and no one knew. I'll bet that lion had been tracking them. And, yeah. Yeah, Andre. Okay, so the Siberian tiger waited for that hunter and then killed him. Well, I mean, honestly, turnabout's fair play in that particular case, right? I mean, right? Uh Comfortably let's not talk clowns. Well, no. Okay. I actually do have a funny clown story that you might find humorous, but we're not going to talk about clowns. Oh, okay. So your daughter has a red-tailed boa. It got her once and squeezed her wrist and wouldn't let go. Your granddaughter dialed the phone, and got a friend to come pull it off. Wow. Oh, wow. I never had my Alabama was her name. She never squeezed me like that. She did bite me a couple times though. And honestly, like boa constrictors, their teeth are like tiny little kitten claws. I mean, they're just needle sharp, but they're so tiny that I didn't even realize that she bit me until the blood started dripping down which we'll not talk about that, but it just sort of felt like a scrape, but then it was like, oh, that's more than just a scrape. Yeah, but but mine never squeezed me. And when mine bit me, it was just a case of like bite, release, bite, release. But still, yeah. Yeah. Belly Bear, you saw a guy on TikTok that taught his tarantula to do high five. Oh, that's so cute. I don't ever want to see that video. That's gross. Comfortably Yum, your favorite hard hat sticker was "Can't sleep, clowns will eat me." Well, do you remember where that's from? That was a Simpsons reference. When Homer built or Bart wanted a Krusty the Clown bed, and Homer was like, "No, I'm not gonna buy you one. I'm gonna make you one." So he made him this clown bed that was just like I'm not even afraid of clowns, and that bed was the stuff of nightmares. And so after Bart was required to sleep in that bed, he kind of had a mental breakdown because clowns can't sleep, clowns will eat me, can't sleep, clowns will eat me. So let's see here. Yes, we are having an interesting herpetology lesson, aren't we, Curtis? You saw a 12-footer in college and never went for beers again? Hey, Aware, good to see you. Despite what the description of the topic for today's chatter, despite the fact that it was supposed to be roller derby, we're actually talking about lions and tigers and bears, oh my, snakes and bunnies and razor-clawed bunnies that eat flesh, orcas. we're basically just talking about all of the ways that aminals can hurt you, is what we're talking about. So it's a good time. It's a feel good, fun time chat. How about that? Okay, maybe I'm making that part up. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Cynthia Krause, you found out that the boa had just shed and she didn't know. Guess they get mean or defensive. Yeah, now, did they just shed or before? Because sometimes before, it's hard for them to see and they get kind of sketchy. So, yeah, actually, to hear you say that, that doesn't surprise me, that there was a circumstance that created that very bad scene with the red-tailed boa. Yeah, I guess, Andre, John Wayne Gacy is maybe a good reason not to like clowns. Yeah, there we go. Roller derby at the zoo, or the zoo at the roller derby. I don't know, but that's what that's where we're at right now. So, as per the usual, chatter scattered at the Statterbox. Comfortably this isn't the furry chat? No, this is definitely not the furry chat. Photo Luke, how about a sloth roller derby animated movie? That could be really cute, actually. Although, no, that would be really cute, actually. Super slow moving like that. I'm not an animator, but I think somebody should get on that. No, I don't think you should be kidding, Photo Luke. I actually do think that a sloth roller derby would be very funny because with roller derby, like part of a strategy with roller derby is to widen your stance to take up as much room on the track as possible. Well, sloths, by definition, that's sort of how they are, right? They're already very widely stanced, so they'd be perfect for roller derby, actually. So, Curtis, you watched Ravens in northern Minnesota, wait till truck owners left, and then went and rummaged through the fast food bags in the back of their truck. Oh, that doesn't even surprise me at all. Yeah, Ravens, super smart. Too smart. Ravens, too smart for our own good. Hey, Mitchie Mama, good to see you. Thank you so much for showing face, even if it's just a K. You're queen of the K crew today. Right, yeah, okay, yeah, Cindy Krause couldn't see and just attacked, not a fan of snakes, nope. So, oh, Lona, all right, we're back at a YouTube Royal Flush at 19. 19 watching, 19 likes, excellent. It's YouTube speak now, meow. All right, I like it. Right, there you go. Exactly, Andre. You've got the 2-claw sloths versus the 3-claw sloths in roller derby. It's it's the last match you'll ever see because it'll never end. It's been 0-0. We're still waiting for the jammer to get through the pack. 3 days later, it's still 0-0. Yeah. Yeah, oh, Mitchie Mama, crows absolutely are really smart. The University of Washington has a professor who studies crows, and he's done some crazy experiments that not only show that crows have a memory of predators and other dangerous people, they communicate that danger through the generations. So I can't remember if it was like a gorilla mask or there was some mask that this professor used. He would wear it and he would go harass this certain set of crows. And then eventually that set of crows told the other crows that this masked dude is a jerk and to harass him. And soon, all the crows in the area knew about this guy in the mask, because whenever he wore the mask, it was hell on earth for him. Part of his experiment. But then he didn't wear the mask for like many, many years. And then he went back and wore the mask again. I mean, like a decade later. Oh, dude, they all knew who. Oh, yeah. I mean, those crows that had originally experienced the harassment by the mask guy had long been dead. So, they'd still communicated that through the generations. Yeah, totally. Was it a Nixon mask? I don't know what it was. Good to see you, by the way, Deb. I don't know if it was some sort of mask, and it might have been a Nixon mask. Actually, I can't honestly remember. But the crows. Not only did the crows remember, they communicated it, and it was a story that was told for the ages amongst the generations. Yeah. So, um, oh, comfortable yum. I'm not at all surprised. You took a salmon off the grill and went to the house for 2 seconds and came out and the ravens had demolished your dinner. And if it wasn't the ravens, it would have been the crows. And if it wasn't the crows, it would have been the stellar blue jays because they're cheeky little buggers too. And they have no fear and they will happily come and steal whatever food is on your plate while you're sitting down at the table with it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Andre, exactly. You're picking up what I'm laying down. The sloth derby is the never-ending derby. Uh, oh, that's hysterical, Belly Bear. Down here at the beaches, the seagulls wait for people to go swimming, and then they steal the people's food. Well, I guess people who don't live near the coast and aren't familiar with the ways of seagulls might be surprised by this, but what were you thinking, leaving your food at the beach? The seagulls are going to come get it. I mean, duh. Doesn't everybody know that? Guess not. Yeah, Mitchie Mama, you might have seen the crow test videos because this particular test is very well known and it's been mentioned a lot. It's the guy who works for the University of Washington is like I think probably one of the top crow experts in the nation or whatever. So his work with the mask and the crows hating the mask is been duplicated and referenced many times. So I'm not at all surprised that you might have seen a video about that. Oh, okay, so Andre, so that crow study was on PBS. Yeah, like I said, it's a very well-known study. Just so happens it was done at the UW. But yeah, it's a totally well-known study. I didn't know. I didn't know. So, oh, it was a kiss mask, Andy Bumatai? You remember when they came back? Comfortably Alaska ravens are huge. Yeah, well, ravens in general are huge. They're much bigger than the American crows. But it's funny. It's very difficult unless you hear their call, or you are right up next to them. If they're up in a tree or flying, it's very difficult because size and scale is so hard once distance is involved. It's very difficult to tell a raven from a crow apart, but in flight, you can tell them apart. I can't remember which is which, but I think it's the ravens. Their tail is diamond wedged, whereas the crow's tail is flat. So I know, and then of course their vocalizations are completely different. But if you're not lucky enough to hear one talk or whatever, the best way to tell them apart is by the shape of their tail. So, yeah, ravens, crows, jays, magpies, they're all corvids. They're part of the same family. That's why they're all very smart birds. The corvid crew. Tom Greek, you once named a seagull Stephen. Yeah, well, of course, Steven Seagal. Yeah, it makes sense because he was out for justice and thought he was above the law. Well, have you met a seagull? I mean, yeah, that's right. Mad Statter, did I tell the crow guy about Brutus the cat? No, I don't think I did. But I did talk to him about another crow that was in my neighborhood. It was a piebald crow, which means it had a lot of white on it. Because when things are completely white with pink eyes, that's albino. When things are completely white but don't have their pink eyes, I think it's lutism, L-I-E-U-T-I-S-M, lutism, something like that. And then there's the crow that I saw, which was a lot of white mixed in with the black, and that's a piebald. And and we had a bunch of crows in the West Seattle area that obviously had the gene for piebaldism, and I thought it was really weird to see a white crow or mostly white crow. So I ended up sending him some pictures, and we had a little email interchange for a while. But I don't think at that point in my life Brutus had almost lost an eye to a crow. So I do not recall telling him that story. Oh, Cindy Krause, I don't like what you're saying, but I'm going to read it out loud anyway. Hey, Terry, lots of tarantulas out on the back road around here. They come up from the dry riverbed in the fall and head up hills. You can see them crossing the road. They can book too. Yeah, I've heard of that. And I've also heard there's a place in Oklahoma that has a whole bunch of tarantulas that literally will cross the road en masse. And it's, oh, yeah, no. Yeah, no. By the way, did I mention, yeah, no, no, no. Yeah, owls can be remarkably huge and a huge wingspread. I totally agree. And the way their feathers are constructed, they like, apparently, I can't remember if it's like a hollow, core or something with the feather, but they're totally silent, apparently. Like there's a physical reason for them to actually be silent when they swoop and glide. I mean, they're constructed, the feathers, owl feathers are constructed differently than a lot of bird feathers. They allow them to fly silent. I don't know what is different about their feather that makes them do that. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, and owls can be huge, but you know what? Owls can also be tiny. I know this because when I worked at a record store, the 3 of the walls were all glass, from top to bottom, you know, and they never got washed, especially not the high parts. So there was just a lot of dust and grime that had accumulated over the years, you know. And one morning we came, and as the sunlight was glistening through the grime-covered window, we saw an outline of an owl that, you know, was maybe a 1.5 foot wingspan, 1.5 foot, and it had hit the night before, obviously. It had hit that window, and left the most incredible imprint. I mean, the details in the grime of each individual feather, and then oh god, it was a good looking owl. I mean, and it wasn't at the, I mean, it wasn't at the foot of the window, so we think it was able to fly away. But god, you know, and all of us were really bummed because we couldn't get a good picture of it because it was too far, but it was really intricate. I mean, it was a thing of garbage beauty because, you know, the grime window isn't really a beautiful thing, but it made beautiful art when the owl hit it. Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. You read about people, Elaine says, you read about people feeding and befriending crows. These crows brought small little things in return and attacked others that were mean to their human friend, family Ohana like. Yeah, absolutely. My friend Jen, I don't think Jen's here today, but Jen E, she sometimes hits the Satterbox. She lives down in Tacoma, and she feeds a crow almost every day. And then that crow in turn has had a baby, and then that crow has taught its baby to go to Jen when you know, every day for some peanuts and things. And I do believe that crow has left her, you know, some bottle caps and stuff like that. So let's see here. Curtis Nix. My brother-in-law had tons of crows on his property. I said, shoot them. Watch, he says, and holds a stick out of the door. No change. Holds a shotgun. They all flew off. Yeah, I'm not surprised. They're not stupid. They know what's up. They know what is up. So let's see here. Still talking about ravens, which is great. I love ravens. We have ravens and crows by work, says Andre, and you've seen ravens hunting mice, and I talk to the ravens always in positive terms because you know they keep a grudge. Yeah, exactly. You always be nice to the crows. In fact, actually, my crows have me trained. as you may know, I have some cats, and when the crows get really annoyed with my cats being in the front yard, the crows will hang out on my power line and just caw this very specific and grating caw. But I know what that means. And so I'll get up and I'll open the front door and I'll be like, get the cats inside because the crows are pissed off that the cats are there. And then once I do that, the crows are fine and happy. So, I mean, literally, I have crows yelling at me to come get my animals out of their yard. And I do it. Yeah. Michael Anthony Smith, I know a lot. Yeah, I know a little bit about a lot of stuff. But if you ask like for more detail, it's just like, you're gonna have to Google that, son. I don't know nothing. Yeah, ravens in Russia look like they've got little white vests on. The crows that are in Norway, I think, are probably the same species because they look like that too. And I know that a lot of those crows, I've seen videos where they like to throw rocks at people. Like they get a kick out of flying, they'll get a rock in their mouth and they'll fly up and then they'll drop a rock and like it's fun for them to hit people with the rocks. And they're kind of assholes, but I still love them. So, okay, cool. Tom Greek. Yeah, I saw that the file transfer is done and I'll grab it once the stream is over. Thank you so much for getting me that movie. We will be able to watch Tank Girl feeling a lot less, stressed about the streaming quality and capabilities. So next week when we watch Tank Girl, we will have to thank Tom Greek for getting me that download and, not have to worry about the streaming dogs and whether or not they'll be smiling in our favor. Okay, Belly Bear. Last time I was in Olympia, there's a black bird in a nearby tree saying hello over and over. Your brother said a trained bird got loose and it taught other birds to say hello, unless your brother is joking. Honestly, I don't know if he would be joking or not. I don't think, like, I know that magpies can verbalize to such a degree that they can mimic human sounds, but magpies aren't native to the Olympia area. But that doesn't mean somebody didn't have a magpie and it got loose. Now, whether or not the magpie could teach other crows to make those noises, I don't know. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like your brother was pulling your leg, but I also feel like there's like just enough plausibility that I'm getting caught hook, line, and sinker in this joke. Like, I feel like your brother's lying, but I want to believe. I want to believe. Yeah. So Aware's got the facts. All right, so talking about owls. Their primary feathers are crisp stiff, so the soft edges are quieter flying. Okay, that's what the mechanics is. But yeah, theirs is different than other birds' is. Yeah. Yeah, no, and where you're totally right. The birds talk to me, I talk to the birds, and we have an understanding. It's their annoying cat alert call. Very similar to when I told the raccoon, this is my land, and the raccoon was like, the hell it is, scratch, scratch, this is where I live, you're just a guest here. We had an understanding. Mm-hmm. Okay, first off, comfortably, I don't think it was a troglodyte that you posted. It was a macrophage. And yes, I did know what a macrophage was. Yeah, Darlene, right, the crows that drop rocks, they're just playing their kind of game. That's exactly it. That is precisely. Oh, okay, interesting. Watch Penguin Bloom movie. Good story about a magpie that saves a woman from depression, which resulted from her accident. Okay, all right, that could be fun. I like animal movies. So, well, that's not true. Sometimes animal movies make me sad, but that sounds like a feel good animal movie. Um, oh, okay. Oh, that's funny, and where I've never heard of this. Okay, I have heard of escaped parrots escaping, and I think like there's plenty places in California that have wild parrot flocks because they did escape. Whoops, I'm trying to mess with my lighting here, guys. Sorry about that. But I did not know. So Anwar says escape parrots have been known to flock with other birds when lost and returned home with new bird sound, i.e., a quacking parrot. That doesn't, I mean, that totally makes sense because parrots, I mean, they're a flock animal, and all the parrots that I've ever known, obviously, I've never owned a bird. I don't have birds, but my cousin is way into birds, and I've had friends that were way into birds. And I'll tell you what, dude, the bird is a part of the family, and the bird, as far as it's concerned, it's a human or else you're a bird, but you're all one flock, and so parrots, I mean, they in the wild they're not solitary birds, they hang out in a flock. So I guess it makes sense that, and since parrots are able to mimic so well, obviously, I guess it makes sense that, if they hung out with ducks for a while, let's talk like a duck, right? I mean, it puts a whole new spin on if it looks like a duck, talks like a duck, walks like a duck. It might be a parrot, but hey. Andre, you know what a macrophage is too? Awesome. Apparently, we're one of the few people that know what a macrophage is. Um, oh gosh, Michael Anthony Smith, parrots are smart birds. Um, very smart birds. My cousin has, what is it, the macaws that are like the red and the green and the huge, the big, big parrots. She's got one of those. And she like it's so much part of the family that when they go on road trips with their RV, like the bird comes with them in the RV type thing. So my cousin and I were in North Carolina or something like that, and she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go. It was a family reunion, so she excused herself because she needed to go teach her bird colors. So basically she was just gonna go back to the RV and spend some quality time with her bird, right? And teach him colors. So she comes back like 15 minutes later and she's like, he already knew his colors. Like, what? She had never taught him colors, but apparently he already knew what colors were. And yep, that's blue, that's green. He could ID the colors. She was just like, I didn't have to teach him anything. He already knew his colors. So, yeah, okay. Watch out if parrots start hanging out with ravens. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, don't keep the bird cage in the bedroom. Good pro tip, Anne. Pro tip. Um, so Terry Gilmore, no surprise that our dumpster queen could find beauty in window grime. I I I love that you said that. But quite honestly though, I think anybody could have found the beauty in that particular spread. It was stunning when the light hit the dust just right. The detail, the level of detail was just phenomenal. Um, let's see. Your Anne, where your grammar and spelling is awful tonight. I think Anne, you know how we feel about autocarrot. If you ever spell something wrong, you didn't spell it wrong. It was autocarrot. Autocarrot did it. Autocarrot did it. So Belly Bear, yes, you have many wild flocks of parrots. At times, it's like AM work traffic light and then return to going home flight traffic. They stop on occasion behind my building and it's lots of chatter. Yeah, yeah, isn't it? I don't know if it's fun for you, but the crows in our area, they roost in a certain location and they all roost together. But then during the day, they spread out and they have their own territories. And so then as the sun goes down, the furthest out comes in and then hangs out and more. They've got like little bus stops or something in the trees, where they all hang out for a little while and wait for the stragglers, and then they'll all flock to the next stop, and the flock is getting bigger and bigger with every flock. And so yeah, so by the time that they're kind of close to their roost, if you happen to live in near a tree that they hang out in, oh man, it's loud. I mean, like, loud, with just the crows talking about their day, I guess. Right, the shroud of the owl in the dirty window. That was exactly what it was, Andre. The shroud of the owl. That is precisely it. Yep, there we go. Yeah, Curtis, that's what I'm thinking. Belly Bear must be one of the last stops before they go home, because that's where the most of them are, and they're all, yep, as they finally get to their final roosting spot. African gray parrots can mimic up to 1,000 words. You babysat one once. Very interesting. You miss her. Oh, that's so cute. Comfortably you need pho. All right then. Well, I can't imagine where you might find pho in our neighborhood. It's very difficult to find pho in our neighborhood. Yeah, just kidding. Let's see here. Okay, so Anware, you've had a Eclectus, a yellow naped Amazon, and now a sun conure. Oh, so you and Shock both are little birdie people. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I could never, I have cats. I could never do the bird thing. I just don't, basically, I don't want a bird that's big enough to beat up my cat, but I would need a bird big enough to beat up my cat. Otherwise, the cat would, well, so. Andre, yeah, they had a pho restaurant named Pho King in Monterey. Yeah, that's a pretty common pho name. There was one in the next town south of where I live that was called What the Pho, and I thought that was kind of cute. I never ate there, but I heard it was pretty good. But yeah, What the Pho, and then Pho King, of course. Because, by the way, folks, in case you guys don't know, I'm guessing most of you probably do, but the soup that is spelled PHO, that's actually not pronounced pho, even though everyone says that. It's pho. So, hence the play on words that we're getting here. So, Aware, your conure Reggie doesn't speak really, but he mumbles like a grumpy person, and he laughs like a human and makes kissy noises. That's kind of cute. Actually, honestly, I think I'd rather have a bird that didn't talk, but just grumbled like a pissed off person. That sounds funny. That sounds funny. Oh my gosh, Mitchie Mama, that is hysterical. Okay, so Mitchie Mama says, I cleaned an attorney's house and their phone rang constantly with that old-fashioned ring from the 1940s. Then I found out it was the parrot that was in the cage in the family room. Oh, what a nightmare. I mean, it's kind of a funny story, but I would not be happy to live with that. I mean, you can't put the phone off the hook to make it stop ringing, right? Because it's not the phone. California. That's funny. Faux restaurant names in California. California. Oh, that's funny. Okay, well, it looks like we have full circled back to soup talk. So I think it might be time for us to wrap this up because Comfortably is feeling a little bit peckish. Maybe she needs some pho. And we've talked here at the Statterbox for about 2 hours, which is our usual, I guess. So I think we're going to wrap this up. And I want to thank you guys for hanging out, talking about all things animalish. And yeah, I guess we'll meet again this coming Thursday. Chatter with Statter on YouTube, 4:30 p.m. West Coast time. 1:30 p.m. Hawaii time and 7:30 p.m. on that East Coast. But before Thursday, I probably will be doing something on Twitch. Who knows what? Maybe a roller derby. Maybe watching a roller derby game and talking about what we're seeing, or Maybe we'll watch a geology lecture. I have no idea. But look for me on Twitch. And if you don't find me on Twitch, I hope to see you next Thursday here on YouTube, Chatter with Statter. And yeah, I think we're gonna wrap things up. But before we wrap things up, we have to acknowledge that yes, Andre, Tampopo, this is the Tampopo pho version, and Michi Mama, I believe. Guess what you had for lunch today? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say ramen, but maybe it was pho. Ramen, ramen, ramen. Let me know. Yep. So yeah, Rick, see you in the wild later. All right then. Yep, Michi Mama, I knew it. It was ramen. I had ramen for dinner last night. We are in good company with each other. All right then. So, on that note, pho, ramen, get what you need, get what you want. I will see you this coming Thursday on YouTube. And until then, have yourself a great week. Thanks so much.